Hey guys, welcome to our weekly live event where I talk about real estate, finance, investing, basically answer any of your business questions. Weekly event every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I also go live every Wednesday night on Instagram at 9 p.m. Eastern Time as well. So whatever questions you guys have, I'm more than happy to help. Normally on Instagram, we have about 60 to 100 people on, so getting to everybody's questions is a little tough. During these live events on YouTube, it's less followers, probably around like 20 at the peak. So this is a new thing for me on YouTube, so you guys get a lot of opportunity to ask your questions and to be able to get my focused attention. So feel free to start putting in your questions on your right hand side, and I'll be able to answer them. In the beginning, what I'm going to do is I'm actually be going over a topic today, which is the difference between bridge debt, also known as hard money loan, and regular debt, not hard money loan. The pros, the cons, and after going over those, I will go jumping into your questions and answering those questions. So, kind of teach you that that concept, so you'll be able to apply those concepts and kind of know it in detail. So when it comes up and you're reviewing a deal, you can be able to know which way I'm going to go, and you can analyze which is best for you in your deal, because every deal is different and the different pros and cons of doing it. So I'm going to give it a minute for a couple other people to jump on, and we'll go from there. Blaine, great question. I'll definitely answer your question. All right, pulling up the content for our topic. How's everybody's week been? All right, so here we go. All right, so Tom, great question. I'll get to your question too. So what topic we're going to go over right now is what is the differences between bridge debt, also known as hard money loan, and regular loans that you would get from secured long-term debt, right? So let's start here with the concept of bridge debt. The reason someone would want to get bridge debt is because they're planning to refinance a property quickly. On a smaller type of property under 4 units, bridge debt is usually known as hard money loan. So when you're getting a hard money loan, you're going to be paying about 1 to 3 points just to get the loan. What a point means is percentage, 1 to 3%. So if you're getting a $100,000 hard money loan, you're paying $1,000 to $3,000 up front just to get the money. So in addition to that, you're probably going to be paying 8 to 12% interest to get it. This is a 1 to 4 unit property. Now, what your plan is that in that period of time, normally hard money loans for 1 to 4 units go from around 6-month term, and sometimes you can go as far as 18 to 24 months. The rates and points you're going to be paying differ on each situation. Your goal there is to either you're going to finish the property, sell it, and move on, or you're going to finish the property, refinance it into a long-term loan, and then have more secured debt. But because you're more flexible to get a hard money loan, because if the property is not currently rented or has issues, normally a normal conventional bank isn't normally going to want to lend you money for that type of loan. So hard money loans, those are the positive factors. Easier to get a loan, normally higher loan to value. Sometimes they'll go to 80, 90% loan to value. A lot of times they'll include 80, 90% of the remodeling cost into there as well. So those are the pros of it. Now the cons is usually higher points, higher interest rates, and you're going to end up paying, in addition, your risk of interest rate risk, which means if the interest rate starts spiking up high in between your 6 months to 24 months during your remodel period, you could be exposed to that. So when you're exposed to that, obviously it could mess up your profitability, your pro forma, because you're estimating your interest rate. And if interest rates jump up 1% to 2%, that can really throw off your profitability. And when interest rates change, it throws off the resale price on your cap rates. It causes a lot of compression. So that's kind of the pros and the cons of a hard money loan. Now, when we're looking at a conventional loan, sometimes even if you're going to remodel a property, say it's already being rented, it has tenants in it, but you're going to go do major remodel, like my Oldsmar 18 property. You can get a conventional loan, but in those loans, normally you'll have to put down at least 20%. All of the remodel costs are going to be coming out of your pocket normally. So since you'll be putting down the 20% and all the remodel costs are coming out of your pocket, you're going to have a lot more cash out of your pocket up front, which normally means you'll have to do less deals, or you're going to have to take on more investors. So you're going to split more of your profit. The good part of that is that usually you'll have enough cash to pay it yourself, so you're not waiting for the bank to give you your draws, because sometimes they take forever. Actually, they almost always take forever to give you the money. So it's longer than you would like for it to take before you get your money for your draw. What a draw means is, say you have an agreement that the bank's going to pay you, is going to help you cover the cost of the remodel, and you just did the roof, and the roof is $20,000, and they agreed that they're going to pay you the cost of your remodeling. You send them the invoice. It takes them a while to process the invoice and then have someone go inspect to see it was actually done, and then for them to wire you the $20,000. You would think it's a fairly quick process, but sometimes it could take weeks or a month to even get paid. So by having the cash yourself, it can make it quicker. That's the pro. Your interest rate is usually locked. It's less points up front. So normally it's only like half a point or no points up front to get the loan. Sometimes it's as high as 1 point, but that's still a lot less than 3 points. And then your interest rate is usually a lot better. Normally it's like 4 to 6% in that range. Sometimes it can be better than 4%, but those are very specific scenarios. So you do get lower interest rate. You do get less points up front. As the pros, your interest rate is fixed, normally for 5, 10, up to 30 years. Another pro. The con is, if you when you refinance, you're gonna have to, or the con is you're gonna have to refinance again. Some banks, it's rare for under 4 units, but above 4 units, it's not rare for them to have a prepayment penalty. So they're going to charge you more money to get out of the loan, because they basically gave you a cheap rate because they want you to keep that loan for a long time. Another con is you have to pay all the money out of your own pocket when you're doing a remodel. So that having all that money out of your pocket lowers your return on investment. Now, as long as you're prepared and understand that, you're going to get a great opportunity for you, because when you're doing this, you're going to be able to do a BRRRR method on a 4-unit or 20-unit or 100-unit property, and then you can do a cash out refi when you're done and get all your money back. And when you have all your money back, you have no money in the deal. So as long as you're patient for a 1 to 3 year period for you to for the stabilization process to occur, then it's not a bad idea either. Now, most of the examples I've given you are really towards a 1 to 4 unit property. I'm going to give you another property for units, usually more of $1 million plus value. You can go into other avenues, right? When you're $1 million plus, you can get Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loans. The federal government will give you a loan 20% down. They're going to give you the loan for the rest on these properties. And usually, if you do a really good job with making energy efficiency happen and have a fair rent amount, so it's more for like lower middle class which is still a good market to be in, they'll actually give you rates as low as 3.8% on a 30-year mortgage for a multi-million-dollar property, where a lot of times you'll hear rates of like 5 and 6%. So it's a great opportunity for you to do these deals. So like I said before, once you get into bigger deals, the money is a lot better. So how it works with a loan of, so the loan I'm doing on the Oldsmar 18, I have two options. I can go with a bridge loan, which is similar to a hard money loan. It's going to cost me about $27,000 in cost, plus 1.5 to 2 points, which is another $36,000. So it's going to cost me $60,000 in closing costs to do this bridge loan. Now, what they will do is they only require 20% down of the purchase price and 20% of the renovation cost. So, and then I could bridge into a Freddie Mac product. So that is nice because my reno budget right now is estimated about $450,000, and so that means I would only need to come up with 90 plus the purchase of 1.8, so $360. So I'd only have to come up with about $440 plus closing costs. But $60,000 in loan closing costs brings me to $500,000 down on this deal. Again, interest rate's not horrible. It's probably between like 6 to 8% during this renovation period, and it's 3-year loan, 3-year bridge loan. Now I can always pay it off quicker and move on, but that'd be good for them because I just paid $60,000 to get a loan, plus I paid 8% interest. Their return on their loan is going to be ridiculous rate, so they would love for you to do it faster than shorter. But if I do that loan, yes, I can get more money from them, but the con is right now it's the lowest interest rates we've seen like forever, right? It's like record lows in history. So if I do this loan and I can use more of their money, the con is that when I go to refinance in 1.5 to 3 years, then the rates could be a lot higher and I could put myself in a bad position. With overnight rates the way they are and how the market went crazy, the end of Q4 of 2019, those loans that normally 30-year fixed rate Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan that's around like say 4%, it was at 5.5%. And because something crazy happened within the government and a lot of factors that you would never think would happen happened. And you never know. So when you take a bridge loan, you're saying, I'm willing to gamble on what's going to happen in the future. I'm gambling that things are going to be good. So now the other option on a commercial loan or above $1 million loan on rental real estate, you can get a Fannie Mae loan up front. Now this loan would only be about 1 point up front to do the loan instead of 2 points. And the fees to do it are going to be about, I think, $17,000 instead of $27,000. So I would save, instead of paying $60,000 to get the loan, I would only be paying about $35,000. And the rate would be about 4.5, 4.25 for this loan. 20% down, plus they're willing to let me get up to $8,000 towards renovations. So when I do $8,000 towards renovations, that's fine, but that's only 8 out of the 25,000 per unit. So I still have to come up with another, say, $300,000 for the renovation costs. So I save money on the loan cost, but I have to come up with more money in the renovation cost. So obviously my return on investment, my cash on cash return is going to be lower. Or I have to bring on more investors, which then I'm giving up more of the profit in the deal. So those are the factors you need to consider to see what do you want to play, where do you feel the future of the market's going to go, and how to affect things. When in doubt, always raise more money than you need, because it's better for you to get a smaller return than expected than for you to lose the deal altogether, right? For you to not be able to fund your closing, for you to go back to your investors and ask for more money. So the other option of getting the Fannie Mae Freddie Mac loan, or the Fannie Mae loan that 20% down and they'll give me $8,000 per unit towards renovations, is also an option that that can really work out. So those are the pros and cons for that loan. Having the con is putting up more money out of pocket. Pro is being able to have less fees to get the loan. Con is giving up more of the profit, and pro is you don't have interest rate risk. So you can see where I'm getting at. The game is very similar on the small units as the large units, except it costs more money to get your loans, but you also make more money in your deals. So that's both ends of the spectrum. Oh, last point is normally on multiple units, you get a better cap rate, better capitalization rate. So meaning when you sell the property, you can get a higher rate of return when you're doing it. So obviously making more money in your deals is really great. So when you do value add, you get a significant return on investment. So in this deal, if I buy it at a 5 cap, which is what it looks like, I put in $450 into the deal, so I'm in for say $2.3 million. At a 5 cap when I sell, I would be selling it at about like at least $3.6 million. So hypothetically, it would be making like about $1.3 million profit on this deal. And let's just say I sell it at a 7 cap. We still will get $3 million roughly, and we would be making about $700,000 profit on this deal. So with the bigger deals, there's a lot more money to be made. So it helps with the room for error, right? It definitely helps out. So now, does anyone have any questions regarding the topic of hard money loans or conventional loans? All right. If I get a Fannie Mae with 25% down instead of 20% down, what rate shall I be able to bargain with mortgage firm to give me? The rate difference is probably going to be like 0.25%. So when you're at 0.25% difference in rate, maybe 0.5%, it's negligible. And on, let's say, like a $300,000 deal, 0.25% is like almost nothing. 1% is 3,000, so 0.25% is $750 for the year. You're saving $750 a year by putting down an additional $15,000. Like, what is that rate-wise? Return on investment-wise. So 750 divided by 15,000. You're making about 5% on your money. Most of the deals you should be doing, you should be making 20% on your money. So why are you going to put more money down to make 5% on your money when you can avoid putting down 25%, only put down 20%, take that extra money, $15,000, save it until you come up with another $60,000 and buy another deal. And when you're buying that other deal, you're going to be making 20%, 25% cash on cash return on that deal. So, and so now the next thing Abe says is the deal is $545,000, the loan is $436. So, all right. So at 545, 5% is $27,250. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The dollars don't change, right? You could be talking about a $5 million loan. At the end of the day, we're talking about percentage. You're only going to be returning or saving 5% on that extra money you put down. A 5% return on the money you're putting down is nothing, right? Like, it's not much. You can invest that. It's almost like saying, don't even pay it down. Put it in the stock market. You'll make probably 8% on average year over year, 3% higher than your 5%. So it also doesn't make any sense to do it that way either. So when I'm talking about it, what I'm trying to tell you guys is the highest and best return, where you're going to make a lot of money, right? I don't want to just tell you, hey guys, this is put your stuff in a index fund and don't worry about it, right? Or something like that, a mutual fund or whatever. I'm trying to find you guys what the best angle is, what I've spent over 20 years figuring out. This is the way to project it. So great question, Abe, and I appreciate you asking that question so we can all learn together. But what I want you to think is this: 5% more down, I'm going to say 5% more down is really only going to save me 5% on my money. Not much. But if you use that instead of putting that extra 5% down, you use that 5%, in this example, $545,000 property, it's $27,000. Maybe use that $27,000 to fix the property up more. You're going to get way more than 5% on your money if you fix up the property normally, right? If you're finding good deals that you're going to add value to. So you invest $27,000, you could probably get, instead of 5%, you should be making about 25% return on your money year over year for that investment. Or you find another deal where you're going to make 20 to 25% return on your money. So there's lots of options for you to better utilize the money than putting down more than 20%. This is my opinion. This is my strategy. So I'm just saying how I would do it. I believe that if you look, right? If you look and spend the time, you could probably say, if I use this extra 5% to fix up the property, I could probably make 25% of my money. Or I could find another deal and so on. So look in those avenues. Don't just, if I'm giving you advice, a lot of times, sometimes, if my advice doesn't match what someone already is thinking, they'll dismiss it. Why are you asking someone's advice then, right? When you're asking someone's advice, take what they're saying and digest it. Like really dig deep into it and see how is it going to apply. Because that light bulb can finally click and be like, wow, now I get what they're saying. And this opens up a whole new avenue for me of options that I never even knew existed. Because a lot of times when people are getting these crazy returns and doing amazing things in business, it's because they're thinking in a way that we're not thinking. And sometimes we need to grow as an individual to grow to the point where we can also think that way. So take it, analyze it, and see the way you go. Again, some people are super conservative and love to put down 35% on a property. And I'm not going to say they're wrong, because they're not wrong. But what I'm trying to do is tell you that what is the highest and best return for your money, and what my thoughts are. Lastly, even if you don't add value and you don't buy another property, cash is king. So if things go bad, it's really good for you to have cash in the bank, because you paying down an extra 5% on there, it's going to make very little difference in your mortgage, and it's going to make very little difference in your cash flow, your P&L statement. So I really think either keeping it in the bank, adding more value, or buying another deal are three way better options than to lower the payment amount. Great question. So Abe says, so shall I ask mortgage firm to put just 20% down? Yes, I would go get different quotes from different people at only putting down 20%. And again, always look for value add deals. That is a big money. Forced appreciation is where you're going to get your big money up front, and appreciation on the property value is where you're going to make money over time, not rent. Don't think, I'm going to put 5% down more, I'm going to get more cash flow, I'm going to keep more of the rent. That's really small potatoes. Appreciation is your big stuff. Forced appreciation is your big stuff. That's where the big money is. I mean, I'm doing that right now on my Safety Harbor cottages. I mean, I bought it for $950. I put in $500. I'm in for about like $1.45 million. But according to what the property is selling for next door, I'm worth $3.5 million. Forced appreciation is where it's at. That's where your big money's at. So, and you can do the same thing. And I did the same thing on small duplexes. It's no different. The game isn't different. All you're doing is doing it with more units. Building up your gut to say, I'm not going to pay down more money. I'm going to value add. I'm going to do these different things. Now that I did the value add and invested all this money in the property, I know it's worth $2 million, and I only owe $1 million. It's so awesome only having a loan half the value. Well, BRRRR method it, because there's a lot of people out there that are like, well, if I do the BRRRR method and get a loan out at 75% of value, I now have a $750,000 loan instead of $500,000 loan. The payment's bigger, and now I get less cash flow in a month. Blah blah blah. Yeah, but that's not the big deal. The big deal is taking the money and doing another deal, expanding your portfolio, having $10 million in properties, and having it appreciate at a minimum of 4% a year, right? that's going to be about $40,000 appreciation a year, or on a $10 million property is going to be $400,000 of appreciation a year. So you can see, I'm trying to help you create generational wealth and to change your thinking for that. So that's where I'm trying to come from, guys. Fishy says, hey Fishy. Fishy says, do you think it's worth to pay someone to fix your credit? Yes, credit cleaning is real. Definitely shop to see if they're good, and definitely shop what they're charging and watch what they're doing. Credit cleaning is a real thing. I know how to do it too, and it's a service I'm planning to provide in the future. I do not provide it now. I do taxes across the country. I do insurance for home and auto, investment properties, general liability for the state of Florida, and eventually we'll be doing loans soon, and after that we'll do credit cleaning. But for now, I don't. And do I think it's a good idea? Yes, I do. Tom Cardy says, what's your real estate strategy and what type of properties do you invest in? I flip homes when I see a good deal, when there's value add there, and I buy in BRRRR method multi-unit properties. I don't find it's valuable in Florida to BRRRR method a home because the return on investment is very low. I'd rather just sell it, flip that money into multi-unit property. I am not a person that makes a ridiculous amount of money a year. I am not a person that was handed money from parents or someone else. I started from the bottom, and I'm climbing this mountain basically by myself with my money. So I normally have to flip out of the house to go and buy. Like, I'm going to be selling a house that I got a great deal on, and I did a value add. I've rented it for about a year so I can get the lower tax bracket. And then I'm basically planning to sell it, make about $200,000, and 1031 exchange it into the Oldsmar 18. So I'm going to be, flipping up. I'm going to be climbing up the mountain. And you guys can basically do the same thing. So I prefer to flip houses, BRRRR method apartment complex or multi-unit buildings, duplex, triplex, quadplex. And basically what I do is I sell my smaller stuff anytime something bigger comes up if I don't have the cash. So Abe says, awesome. Thanks again for your advice, Pascal. You're welcome, Abe. Abe's been following me for a long time, so he always comes up and asks really good questions. Yerk says, hey, Yerk here. I'm about to do taxes. How do you write off taxes if you own a house? This is my first time owning a house. So Trump did a lot of great things for taxes. It reduced taxes a lot for everybody. Now what he did is he automatically gave everyone that's married a standard deduction of $24,000 and everyone single a standard deduction of $12,000. So when he did that, your standard deduction is $24,000 now, right? If you're married. So it's really hard to itemize your deduction to pass the $24,000 threshold. So there's a thing called itemizing your deductions. When you itemize your deductions, you are adding all of your interest from your home taxes. You're adding all the interest from your home in mortgage interest. You're adding all of your donations. You're adding all of your medical expenses, meaning your medical insurance plus your medical bills you paid for the doctor. Anything over 7.5% of your earned income amount, right? So if you make $100,000, anything over $7,500 in insurance, medical insurance, you can actually claim on your taxes as well. And then any of your donations, you add that donation figure to your total of everything I just mentioned, and that total must be above $24,000 for you to use that instead of you using your standard deduction. So it's standard deduction of $24,000 or all those things I added and put together. Whichever's higher, they'll let you use that to write it down against your income. So as you know, maybe you guys don't know, I'm an accountant. I have an accounting firm. I worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers. I was working for Bank of America as a banker. I did loans, so I know banking as well. I own 3 insurance agencies, so I know insurance as well. So, and one of my good friends, his mom was one of the best credit cleaners in the country, so I understand credit very well. That's how I understand all these different concepts, and I'm able to master each one and then combine them together to build my real estate model or my investing model. Because I don't just invest in real estate, I invest in many things, but the way to wealth, the fastest way to wealth, I have found it to be through real estate, unless you are some major tech firm or marijuana firm or crypto that You are in the inside, not you're some outside person investing. You're in the inside and you're actually doing it from the ground. That's a good way to really blow up. So those are the 4 ways I found that you can really blow up financially by focusing, or be in sales and flip things. Flip Pokemon cards, flip baseball cards, flip cars, literally cars, buy them, detail them, fix them, sell them. That's a good way to make money. Those are all ways to make good money. Or also you could sell stuff online if you have like a Shopify store or different stores. Amazon, if you're good at it, right? Most people are not good at it. They don't make money. And normally it takes any of the things I mentioned that make good money. Normally at minimum it takes 5 years before you actually get good at making money. So you can't quit. You can't just get into the real estate game and be like, I'm not a millionaire yet. Yeah, it takes 2 to 5 years to get good. So you have to stick to it. Imagine, like, if it was really that easy, how many people would be very good at it? So anyone who's been good at it, like, I'm an overnight success. I've been doing this for 20 years. Yes, I'm 34, but I've been literally working since I was 14 and studying the game. So the longer you study and the more you study, the more you're in the gym, practicing your free throw, the better you're going to get at it. So the more you're practicing this, the more you're coming to the live, the more you invite your friends to come to the live, join and learn, the more you're going to grow, right? And if you don't mind, if you haven't, smash the like button because I appreciate the positive feedback. And the more you study my videos, my live stuff, the more you're going to be able to grow and be able to change the way you think. Because why have I been able to I wasn't born rich or successful. I learned consistently again and again and had to change the way I think and build a stronger gut to go through the problems to finally get to where I need it to be. And for that, smash the like button. Thank you. And everybody else, it's not that much. It's not that hard. You just like click like that. So, but great question, guys. Abe says, can you send me home insurance quote? Yeah, if it's in Florida, I can do a home insurance quote. You can send me a message on here, or you can, I'm going to put my email right here. Bascal@CorcusFinancialServices.com. Now, for all you that follow me on Instagram, my email is there as well. So you can go to Instagram and email me there. That's another way you can send me an email. Just email me the property address. The best thing, if you already have insurance in Florida, right? I have 30 different home insurance companies. I have 10 different auto companies. If you need insurance, send me a copy of your deck page, which is your copy of your insurance page. I'll see what you have. I'll go check every single company out there, and I'll be able to come back and see what's the best deal for you. And I'll be honest, it's not going to be me. It's going to be one of the people that work for me that does that, and that's all they do all day. Check insurance, trying to find the cheapest price. As I told you, the last video was saying that I just sold my first duplex I ever owned. I bought it when I was 19. I just sold it now 15 years later, and the person was going to get insurance from someone else, and I was like, whatever. I normally don't cross things over, right? If I'm selling someone a property, I don't also do their insurance or do their taxes just for conflict of interest. Afterwards, if they come back and ask me to do those things, I'm more than happy to do it, but I don't want to gunk things up. Anyway, they were having a problem with insurance. They couldn't get insurance for some reason, right? So they finally got an option from a company for $1,600 for the year. Well, we were able to do it for like $600. So they were like, oh yeah, of course, I'm saving $1,000. They did it because they were like, well, we heard you do insurance. Can you look at this for me? And it works out. So my email's right there. Also, you can email me through Instagram, and it's the same email. So Abe also says, also, any great mortgage companies you would use and recommend with efficient rate of interest? I use better.com. Another one I use is I think Better is it? Yeah, better.com. That's the one I've been using for the last few years. It's all online, very good rates. Tom Cardy says, when you flip, do you use 1031? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do a 1031. Sometimes you can't, because 1031, you're kind of supposed to own it more than a year. Otherwise, they think, okay, well, now it's not an investment, it's more like a business where you bought to flip it, and that's like your business is flipping. So normally, there is no exact rule, but the IRS normally wants you to own the property for more than a year for 1031. Now, what I normally do in that situation, if I'm going to flip the money into another deal, right, a multi-unit deal that I'm going to keep, what I do is I do some aggressive depreciation on the property that I bought. And when I'm doing that aggressive depreciation, I'm showing a huge loss, and I'll take that loss against the gain I made from the sale. So then at the end of the day, like my most recent property I sold, I probably is going to show like $100,000 profit. Well, I'm going to take a depreciation on my Safety Harbor complex because I wasn't making a lot of profit before to write off against the gain, even though I didn't 1031 the money. So those are options. Blaine Sullivan says, what is the best property to buy as an 18-year-old? Sorry for asking again. No problem, Blaine. I got you. So, preferably, you buy a duplex to a quadplex. You can live in one side, and the other side someone else pays. Your down payment would normally be about 3.5% down. And you can use the income from the other person to help cover the payments on the mortgage that you're going to get. That is the best use of money in real estate, in my opinion. Nancy says, book recommendations to learn allowable tax deductions. Honestly, I don't have a book for that specifically, to be honest with you. Probably Robert Kiyosaki has a book about that somewhere. I don't know which book it would be, but to be honest, I don't have a book on that. All the tax knowledge I know is because I'm an accountant. I spent 5 years going to school to be an accountant. I worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers as an accountant. For an oil company, I was the head accountant, and I learned all these tax rules practicing, actually doing it. I didn't read any book for that. And it's funny because, actually, the 5 years of school I went for business, they actually don't really teach you much about taxes. They teach you principles, and then you actually learn everything in the field working for companies. Good question, Nancy. Tom Carty says, do you think real estate will change in any way in the coming years? Do you think buying will become harder, or will it become harder to invest, in your opinion? I believe that real estate in the next coming years will have problems because the market is hot. I think the stock market will also have problems. I think the market's really hot. I think that there's going to be fluctuations that we need to worry about. I think that interest rates will dip and then climb. So I don't think interest rates will always stay this low. So you're going to have two issues. Like, one, you're going to get great interest rates now, but the property you buy could go down in value, right? And then interest rates might go up a little bit because they can't stay this low forever. So then that also causes the prices to go down. So then you'd be in an asset with not much appreciation is going to go up, but you're going to still be able to cash flow and make money on your rent until everything fixes and adjusts. So you just have to make sure that if you're getting into the game, you're getting into a quality property, in a great area, and with debt that's long-term, that's fixed for over a long period of time. I wouldn't get something that's like a 15-year loan. I would get more like a 30-year loan, so your payments can be small. In case you do have any vacancies, you're not worrying about covering the payments. So, great question, Tom. That's what I foresee in the future that could happen. Am I still buying now? Yes, because I'm buying deals that are undervalued. So even when I fix them and bring them up to value, even if things go down, I'm still net positive compared to where I started. So there's still a value in it. And by that time, I still move on to other deals and buy them for even cheaper. So I don't see a negative. I'm not afraid when I'm like, oh, Pascal, you own all this real estate. What are you going to do? Well, the stuff I didn't love, I moved on. And stuff that didn't, even though I loved it, that didn't suit me, I moved on, right? Because it's not a love thing. It's what is best interest for you for now and what's the best interest for the next 5 years. So that's the kind of difference there. Yerk says, what time you will be on the property? I will bring you the book. Oh, I'll be at the property tomorrow, probably around like 2 till like 5 or 6. And then most of the day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you can DM me on Instagram and kind of double check before you come. Yerk lives not that far from me. He's actually seen the property before. Tom, how do you find your deals? I find them on the MLS, at LoopNet. I mail letters. Mailing letters is a hit or miss, but when it hits, it normally hits pretty good. So, I do everything. Basically, I do everything. I'm on an email list for a bunch of different flippers or wholesalers, and most of the deals they send are garbage, to be honest. But I still am on there just in case something comes up that is good. Because, again, anywhere you look, 1 out of 1,000 is good, either through the mailers or through the wholesalers or on the MLS. Rare, but again, I'm always looking, and that's how you basically find it, just consistently looking. So Blaine asks, what do you think is the best property? Oh, I already answered that question. Tom says, how do you build your capital to begin investing in real estate? How I did it is I literally worked at a job, made like $8 an hour, saved the money. I would buy Pokemon cards, flip them, buy video games, flip them, comic books, whatever, do odd and end jobs, do odd and end service things, and just did that until I saved up enough money for my down payment. And then I also did a lot of work when I was younger in construction, but a lot of the stuff was free. My dad would make me go help his friends do stuff, and I was fine with it because at least I got to get out the house. And I would go, and along the way, I was doing all this work. I was actually learning how to do the stuff with my own hands. So then when it came time to get this stuff done, and I would see how much people are really charging, I was like, man, forget this. I'll do it on bucks. I'll just do it myself. And it's like I paid myself $500, So when you start, you do a lot of stuff yourself. And that's kind of a good thing because you will then, when you watch someone doing something, you'll know if they did it right. So I'll see people doing something and be like, no, this is not right. I need you to do it this way. Like, oh, this is okay. I'm like, I know it's okay, but it's not going to last for a long time. I need this thing to be good for 15 or 20 years. The way you're doing it, I'm going to have it good for 3 to 5 years, and then I have to do it again. And the biggest part is your materials is not the expensive part. Paying someone to do it is the most expensive part. So make sure it's done right. So that adds to the fact of buy the best quality materials. Buy porcelain tile. Don't get ceramic tile. Ceramic tile breaks so easy. Spend an extra 50 cents a square foot. Get porcelain tile and not have to worry about doing it again. So they're all those little tricks, all those little things, they add up. All of it adds up to something significant. And if you like everything you're learning so far today, feel free to smash the like button. Next thing. So Saul says, why are you putting too much luxury into your current project? So, why am I doing that? That is a really great question. Big warning. Don't put too much luxury in your stuff. There is diminishing returns in it, right? Which means if you put in a granite countertop that's worth $2,000, some homeowners, some areas will only add another $1,000 of value or $500 of value to your sales price. So it might not be worth it. Maybe you should go with just regular laminate countertops. This area, is a luxury area. So for a luxury area, you got to give them a luxury product. 2, they're short-term rentals. So not only do I got to give them luxury, I got to put in high quality to make sure that it lasts, because the higher quality normally means it can get beat up more and it's going to last longer. So, and especially if it's short-term rentals where people are going to be living in it and they're going to be rushing and not take care of things properly, there has to be a kind of material that can get beat up and withstand, because it's a lot easier to pay for something to get done once than for you to have to fix it again and change again in 3 years. You want it to last for 15 years. So yeah, you spend more money up front, but if you invest in the front end, you save in the back end, and you make a lot of money. So am I going to make a lot of money the first year? No. Second year? Okay. Third year, I should be making good money. And that's where I'm looking at it, is that in the future, I'm going to make good money. And why am I at where I'm at today? It's because when I was 19, I bought my first deal. And the sooner you buy your first deal, even though my first deal wasn't a good deal, I overpaid. I fixed things multiple times and wasted money that way. Because again, I didn't know what I was doing. And I redid things again and again and spent money different ways and wasted money different ways and let people stay there for free multiple months before evicting them and all these different things, right? That caused me to create a stronger gut that made me learn. So now that I'm doing these $1 million deals, I'm not making those same mistakes. So you learn all these little things along the way. And that's the reason why I'm putting in the value there, because it's gonna be worth it, and the quality is gonna be there. For everyone that smashed the like button, thank you very much. I appreciate the positive feedback. Let's see here. What's the next question? Rainbow is my thing. What would you do if you received 25,000 K at the age of 18? I'm not good at business, right? I don't have an existing business that I'm working on. I'd buy a piece of real estate. Especially if you're renting somewhere, I'd buy a duplex, triplex, quadplex, or invest in my self-knowledge to the point where I could invest in those things and do those things. Good question. All right. So, Abe says, I'm traveling from New York from New York to Tampa on the 21st, January, Tuesday. Can I come visit and say hi? Yeah, you can. Yerk says, liked. Cool. Thanks, Yerk. Tom Cardy says, will do, brother. You do an amazing job. Love learning from you. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate the positive feedback. So thank you guys for positive feedback, for all the likes, for subscribing. Please refer your friends as well. The more people in your circle that are learning, the more your circle is going to get stronger and everyone's going to benefit, right? I believe in a all boats rise type of concept. Is that you could try to elevate just yourself and not everybody else. But if you kind of can do it in such a way where you can cause the water to rise, right, and everyone around you is going up together, then it's going to be a lot stronger, because if a storm comes, you can help each other out. But if you don't, and you're the only one that's doing well, one or two things are going to happen. One, everyone's going to be asking you for help. Or two, you're going to start separating yourself from those people. Or three, they pull you down. So it's best to kind of make sure that everyone in your circle is getting stronger. So please share them my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and I'm also on TikTok. I do some funny stuff on there. So I don't see any more questions right now. We went through a lot of questions today. Is there any more questions today before I go? I'll give it a minute, because I personally am a slow typer. So I'll give it a minute to come up. Reminder, I go live every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. You guys get a lot of one-on-one time with me during these events, because, hey, there's not many people on here compared to Instagram. I go live on Instagram every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Bring your questions. The harder the question, the better, because obviously I can add more value. But all the questions are good and appreciated. Please make sure that you watch my other videos and other things, like all of them, comment, share. Again, very appreciated. And again, if you need help with your taxes, bookkeeping, and payroll, I do it for all across the country. Actually, a few international clients as well. And if you have insurance in Florida, home insurance, auto insurance, commercial insurance, we'll be happy to help you with that as well. I got a couple more questions that came in. Abe says, do you go through total deal contracts to closing day? I don't understand. With some fees. So do I review deals? Yes, I review deals for people. I can do, my accounting firm is full service, so we do all types of consulting. So we can handle that. Yes, there's fees. Basically, everything I do out here is basically free, right? Don't charge for anything. Any of my live events, any of the questions. But if it's like things that actually take my time during the day, during my normal work schedule, right? I'll need to charge because that's taking time away from my business, which would be generating money. So I'm more than happy to help people on one-on-one, but I need to be able to replace the money I would be making elsewhere. So yes, we do offer those services. Sal says, do you look up, what do you look up to when you were 17? I wanted to be a real estate investor, right? Like that's what I looked forward to doing. I wanted to grow in business. I did a lot of studying and investing in general. At 16, I would buy and sell stocks. I did okay. I didn't have that much money to work with though. I had like $1,000 in there, but I did pretty well. I just always studied different type of investing, and I always wanted to be a real estate investor and kind of go from there, you know. Nancy says, when you sell a property, how long do you have to reinvest the money to avoid capital gains? If you sell a property through a 1031 exchange, you have 6 months. But if you just sell a property and you don't have the proper paperwork and have a proper organization handle it for you, normally it's about $1,000 for them to handle it, then you get 1031 exchange the money. Abe says, I would like to take your help of professional experience to close my deal. I'll be happy to review it. I'll be happy to review it. So I'm more than happy to help you guys. I'm planning this year to do a lot more deals, and I'm opening up to the idea of taking on other investors. So that's an opportunity that's going to be coming up later as well. I know that I'm capable of doing a lot more deals, a lot bigger deals. So my goal is to be at 350 units in the next year and a half. So looking at multiple units right now, sending out letters and so on. So a lot of good stuff is going to be coming, and I'm happy to help you guys grow as well. It was great seeing everybody tonight. I'll see you guys next time at our next live event. Be blessed.